back and forth with some of these individuals who Steve is reporting
Paul Manafort
are back in the mix.
Yeah, well, Paul Manafort, I mean, I remember he ran the convention for Donald Trump. It was very important. And then it was discovered that he was talking to the Russians, right? Giving them campaign information, poll information. And then, of course, he got a pardon. Look, this is a nice way to say thank you for a lot of these people. I mean, what more could Donald Trump have done for them than pardon them and get them out of jail? And I think Paul Manafort would jump at the chance to become relevant again in this way.
Yeah, and then the question is, if he does win, how active will people like that be in the administration of Donald Trump?
Would be very active.
That's getting way out ahead of ourselves. But we do want to switch gears to something that Trump is doing right now, which is he's scrambling. He only has 4 days left to find nearly $500 million to post bond in his civil fraud case. If not, the state of New York could begin seizing his assets. Trump is fundraising off of that possibility, sending a text to supporters yesterday reading, "Keep your filthy hands off Trump Tower." So what he is doing, and I just want to be clear, he's not asking his supporters to pay his bond. He's asking his supporters to give money to his campaign, which also contributes to legal fees.
Exactly, and you can double dip in a sense because I mean there is a limit for contributing to a political campaign. There's not the same limit for a legal defense fund.
And if I may, he's also, I mean, this is what he does, and
right.
Everybody in politics does this now. He's trying to rile up his potential donors to get angry to send money.
And one thing that is clear that we've seen really for now more than a year is whenever he is in legal trouble, it has helped him politically.
Yes.
So imagine this scenario. I heard one of our legal experts saying on our air this morning that the visual of Trump Tower being padlocked or something, and them seizing property. Imagine how that would help the former president politically. Imagine how those images would sort of build onto this. So even though legally and financially it's not good for him, we do not necessarily know that politically this is not good for him in the moment. It's just one more part of what a lot of voters see as a pile-on effect for him. So this drumbeat to the Monday deadline also keeps Trump consuming all the oxygen in this race.
Yeah, that's right. And that is such an important note of caution because every single time, I can't think of one example right now, I'm sure there is, where sort of the conventional thinking in a conventional campaign about a conventional politician was,
from the mug
this is going to hurt
other
him.
things.
Yeah,
boom, 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 down the line.
And it's, I mean, going even back to when he was trashing John McCain, didn't hurt him. Catherine Rempel wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post about this, saying, he, meaning Trump, treats every bill, every signed contract as merely an opening offer. Imagine you lend Trump a few $1 million and then he gets elected president again. It would become virtually impossible to collect. If you did try to collect, Trump would likely have a few qualms about sticking the Justice or Treasury Department on you.
This is the difficult and delicate thing for the White House and for the Biden campaign, right? Because they can't, we just played that ad. They responded very quickly to COVID. They're staying very far away from all of this because they don't want to play into the narrative of big bad government and the government's getting involved and they're the DOJ is working for Biden. So all of that makes this very sensitive for the White House and for the Biden campaign to weigh in on, which even though the narrative exists and is out there and the former president uses it to his advantage, I mean, I think immediately the mugshot came to mind when, with all of this that's going on with the bond, because it was something he was using to his political advantage.
And then there is the question we talked a little bit about on the show yesterday with Bill Cohan. How is he going to do this? And one of the options is for him to file personal bankruptcy. Part of our colleague Caitlin Collins' reporting was that that is not something he wants to do. I mean, talk about a personal blow. She said he has privately expressed opposition to any path concerning filing for bankruptcy, and it remains the least likely for now.
Well, he's filed for bankruptcy before. He's been bankrupt in the 90s, if you'll recall, and that wasn't a great time for him. And I think he doesn't want it to happen again because don't forget, he ran on the fact, and we've run clips, that I'm very rich, I've got a lot of money. He testified in a deposition he had about $400 million in cash on hand, which we haven't seen. And so I think there's you know, there's a real reluctance here because his whole aura is, I'm this rich guy. And when he was declared bankruptcy the first time, you know, he was monitored by banks. He had things taken away. I mean, I recall in doing some reporting on this that they asked, you know, how much did Marla's engagement ring cost?